Welcome to the Lyvely podcast. I'm your host, Dave Catudal, and today I'm joined by someone very special, very interesting, and someone that I'm very excited to bring to the table today because he's full of wisdom and actionable advice. It is Adil, a friend, but someone that I want to get to know even more, and we're going to do it today here on the podcast. So please welcome Adil. He is the founder of Brotherhood DXB. He's a men's coach and mentor. And like I said, just one of those guys that is full of wisdom. And I know that you're all going to learn something. So let's dive in.
Let's do it, man. I'm so excited for this. Thank you for having me. And to be the first one on the podcast.
Number one.
Let's go.
Yeah. So
thank you, brother.
Conversations like this are, the point of this podcast is to bring out that passion that people have to share with others to help them improve their lives, right? That, and of course, you're a coach.
Yep.
You are relatively new on your business and entrepreneurial journey.
100%.
All right. And so I want to know about that. I want to know where you're going, but I want to start at the beginning.
All right.
So let's start. How did you get into what you're doing now? Where did that start?
Right now, as you know, I'm a coach. I mentor men typically. I do have some female clients, but typically I'm trying to work with guys. And really it's the evolution of where they are now to being just a better version of themselves. And usually it's the version of themselves that they know they can be. They can just be stuck. They're in their comfort zone, or they're just in the hole and they can't get out of it. It's just nice to have someone to pull you out. And if I look back, I've always been interested in personal development. I've always been someone that wanted to motivate and inspire people. For example, I trained as a personal trainer years ago back in the UK.
Right.
So around my full-time job, I was training people before work and after work in the office building because we had a gym there.
Right.
I loved it. Right. When I got into fitness, I loved it. And I thought that was where I was supposed to help people. Fast forward many, many years, I'm now a coach. And the reason why I got into this is because I went through my own journey of pain and realizing that I was not performing at my greatest. I wasn't, and I mean that in the deepest possible sense, who I was as a man. I was someone that was ridiculously shy, really insecure. And as much as I was out there meeting people, the inside version, the real me, and the one that was closed, was the man that has suppressed emotions. He was the nice guy. He was the yes man. He was the people pleaser. And as a result, he would be very angry. He would explode. He would take it out on people that were closest to him. He struggled with his relationships because he just couldn't stay faithful. I didn't understand why. I just thought this was just who I was. And obviously I caused a lot of pain. And then it all kind of came to a head with a few things that happened with relationships and family. And I guess I hit my rock bottom. And it forced me to seek help. I thought, I'm done. Something needs to change. I need to go and get some help. I actually went to Morocco just to get away from everyone. My family, my partner. Wow. I just went. Only for like a retreat, but I knew I had to get away. I called my boss and said, I'm leaving. I just need to go. I don't care whether you approve my leave or not. I need to go. He said, look, just go do what you need to do.
Yeah, man's got to do
Stop
what he needs
being so
to
dramatic
do.
and just get out of here. So I left and I went on this retreat that was full of older people, if I'm being honest. It was older people. I didn't want to be around any kind of temptation. And I met a Reiki healer called Kate, who took me on a journey to understand myself in a way where I didn't know that I was harboring all these feelings and emotions about my family, about myself. And I was able to speak just for the first time so openly without judgment. And what I realized was that, man, I really have a lot of work to do to uncover who I really am. And that was the thing. Who am I really? When you take away all of the expectations from society, from family, from partners, who are you? Even if you remove your job, then who's that person? Who's the deal really? I didn't know.
Wow, that's deep.
And so when I came out of this 3-hour session that was supposed to be only 1 hour, it was 3 hours.
They had a lot of work to do.
I don't think even she realized, that we were there that long. But I realized that, one, it could have been worse, how I felt and what I had done.
Amen.
I wasn't necessarily going through that darker hole where I couldn't come out of it. I was still aware. I realized that I had to repair my relationship with my mom as something, a part of me that needed healing so that I could build better relationships with women. I also realized that I had suppressed so much of my emotions and feelings over time that through culture, through just being what I thought being a man was, that I realized that I need to change that and start being more vocal. And then the last bit was I thought, you know what? I need to help men speak.
Did that revelation come from that one Reiki experience?
100%.
Really?
Yeah.
That's powerful, man. I mean, that's a serious outlet. Like something shifted there.
It was huge. It was huge because it was
Wow.
going to sound weird, but I was there talking to her as if she was my mum. So I was saying things in real time that I haven't even told my mum. And
Still.
no. Now I've done a lot of work with my mum and we've come a long way.
Amazing. Good for you.
Yeah.
Wow. That's serious stuff.
Talk about reparenting and working with mum and dad and actually expressing things. It's so powerful, so important. So much of what we experience now as adults is you link it back to your parents, and normally we don't have a way of healing that, but there is a way, you know.
And that's our responsibility.
100%.
Right? Isn't that interesting? I think that every passion-based pursuit and career, and to a certain degree, a lot of successful businesses come out of one's own, I mean, could be rock bottom or it could be that revelation that turns into like this fiery passion inside you. That's
100%.
like in that moment you knew that, okay, you had some work to do, you had some repairing to do, but I want to do this too. Like, did you get that feeling like I want to be able to do this for other people?
It was like a kindling at the beginning. And then I started working with a men's coach. So I came back from Morocco.
Interesting.
I worked with a therapist and a men's coach and just started doing the work, reading books, and then as I started working with a men's coach and joining an online men's group, I was like, yo, this is it. This is what I need to do.
Interesting.
And at the beginning, he felt that I was working with him because I wanted to replicate it. And so he was triggered and we actually spoke about it. And I said, yes,
healthy.
I am actually wanting to start my own thing. And he goes, you know what, man, thank you for being honest. I'll be your mentor. And as you know, he's amazing. This guy is amazing. His name is Alexander Cottle from the UK. An amazing guy.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it was from then, and then I realized that, okay, this is what it needs to be. And let me start a men's group. Let me just start an online men's community where guys can just speak their truth.
I mean, that is the evolution to what brings you to being the founder of Brotherhood DXB.
Yeah.
It's a awareness that you had, like, I need to make a change.
Yeah.
Like you said, rock bottom. And that sounded like a culmination of awareness that you had relationships that weren't, very healthy for you.
Yeah.
And not a close relationship with your family, with your parents. And like you said, cultural things. So it wasn't, would you say that, because again, now I'm trying to have other people assess where they are as well, which is, I'm sure, a big part of that. You had to have been aware that something was wrong and something had to change, but not everybody takes that drastic action. Like you went on a retreat in Morocco, right? Like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, or like what was the research process, or why did something that extreme? Like, were there steps? I think what I'm trying to ask is, were there steps before that retreat where you said, I need a change, or was it literally like a light bulb moment?
It was a light bulb moment. There was the thing that happened with my family, and coupled with it literally was my girlfriend finding out that I cheated. This culmination of things together just forced me to think differently. I can't even explain how and where this came from, but I knew that I was already aware enough. I was already on my kind of journey of journaling and meditation, but I needed something deeper. And what I knew was that I had to do something different. I've been trying all these different things, a retreat away from everyone, a phone off for the week. That's what I had to do.
That's hard.
So that's what it was. I just knew I had to do something drastically different.
Wow.
And so I thought, what's the next best thing?
Right.
I need to get away, not on holiday. Because if I go on holiday, I'm going to go to a bar, I'm going to just probably have some fun. It's going to be the opposite. I need something that will force me to do things that are good for me in a container that I wouldn't normally do. So I had that awareness, at least, you know?
Yeah, you wanted to do something uncomfortable.
Exactly. So I thought about going for one of those 10-day Vipassanas.
I've been there.
But I knew that would be too much. So you've done it. You know what it's like, right?
I do, yeah.
Did you last the full 10 days?
I did, but it was tough.
Yeah.
It was really tough.
So I knew that would be too extreme, and that it would have been something complete. I needed still people. I needed a structure. I needed some meditation, yoga, and some good people, and that was it.
Yeah, it's smart.
And that was it. And it was actually yoga and surfing retreat.
Oh, okay.
So it was a good mix.
Yeah,
you know?
no, nice. Good choice. Better than Vipassana.
So I got to have a little bit of fun
nothing
too.
wrong with Vipassana, but
yeah.
Wow. Okay, that is super interesting. So, I mean, first of all, I've known you for a while. I kind of want a timeline on this, but like this is super interesting because I never knew this. The prehistory of, because I met you when you were in Dubai. First of all, I didn't know you were ever a personal trainer. Right? It makes sense. I mean, you're in great shape, but I had no idea. And how your evolution, because I know, like, when you think in Dubai, when you think men's coach, like your name is front of mind, right? And so when someone has that kind of brand equity from a very niche, business, I'm always interested. Okay, well, how did you get there? But now this journey makes complete sense, right? It was very organic, and it was out of like at other startups, is you solved your own problem.
Yeah.
You learned from that experience, and now you can help others do the same.
But I'll tell you what else happened is obviously I was learning with my coach, but when I came here, nothing was in formation, right? There was no business. There was no, I had no job, as it were. And I was struggling. I had to decide that I was a men's coach.
Oh, interesting.
So I had to literally brand myself in that moment and make a decision that, okay, this is who I am now. And Dubai is a place where you can redefine who you are and you can start from the beginning. And, my job before was working for the British government.
Pivot.
Talk about pivot, right? It's very, very different. Don't get me wrong, like there are loads of synergies, and I was training people, and I'm very much a people person. I was that outgoing kind of almost like a sales guy type thing in procurement, plus the PT. So all of the lots of synergies, plus my own work. But really it was, how do you go from being that guy to starting a business and starting a community in this space? That was tough. And then trying to build it online. I had no experience in building an online presence. I had no experience in building communities. I had no experience at all in any of this stuff. I've been winging it this whole time. I'm not gonna lie. I've been winging it. So I don't see myself as this entrepreneur with all of these tips and tricks. And I'm just like, I'm just doing my best. I'm showing up every single day. And bro, there were times when I wanted to pack up and go home. And when we were kind of working together and you brought me into one of your shoots and all this kind of stuff, you remember that money that you gave me for that shoot saved me.
I love it.
And I don't think I told you that, but I needed it. Like I was struggling. Because coaching wasn't going anywhere.
I hear you, man, and I've been there. Yeah.
And I was like, this came at the perfect time. Certain things happened throughout these 3 years that were just like lifesavers, from people saying, come live with me, from money like this, and a coaching client out of nowhere. And then Brotherhood UAE started with me sitting in a park with some karak waiting for a man to join after posting on meetup.com and hoping that a man would come and, have a conversation. No one came for a long time. But I was there every single Tuesday, bro, without fail.
That's massive.
Yeah.
That's why you're here right now.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone's really absorbing that, because that message right there, like you just put one foot in front of the other. You knew where you wanted to go. You didn't know how you were going to get there. No. And there were many opportunities for you to stop.
Yeah.
And you could have taken signs saying, this isn't working, right?
Yep.
I'm trying this, and like you're there waiting on a Tuesday and no one's showing up, right? At that point, because that's when you're low on money, when you're in a city like Dubai that's very competitive and has a lot of, it really pulls you into wanting to be, building up your finances and, and there's an expectation of doing so here in the city. What was it that made you just keep going? Like when signs were saying this may not work.
I think a lot of the men probably listening might appreciate this. I wanted the people back home to not see me as a failure, if I'm being honest. That was the original driver.
That drives.
I can't go back. I know that my life back home isn't what I want it to be. I know that this is the place to make it, of all places, if I'm going to make it happen. And I don't want to go back with my tail between my legs. I need to keep moving. I know that this can work. And I still hear it from my people back home saying, come on, what are you doing? Come back.
Yeah.
And there was a time back then, there's 2 years ago now, maybe just over 2 years ago, when the pandemic hit again, the second wave. My grandmother passed away, and I was stuck here. Same time I was having, again, big family issues back home, and I couldn't leave. One, financially, I couldn't afford the ticket home. And two, the airlines just wouldn't let me go home. And back then I was like, what am I doing here? I'm missing out on family life. The things are happening around me that I have no control over, but I can't experience them.
Right.
And I remember being in this hotel room on my own, just trying to kind of pay tribute to my grandma by myself. And it was so lonely. And I was like, I really had to reckon with myself and say, right, you need to dig deep. You either go home and you just go and be happy with it and just go get a government job again and just do your thing and just start that, I don't know, that family or whatever it is you want to do. Or you buckle up, strap in, and do what you need to do to make this work, because you know that you can do this. And that was it. And I thought, okay, let's ride it out.
Talk about burning the boats, huh?
Literally.
Like literally, that's a classic story, burning the boats. Like, I'm not going to go home, tail between the legs, but you were at that defining moment. And you said, so you were in that moment and then you came back to Dubai. Was there a shift? Like when you came back, like was there a reinvigorated drive? Was there a new strategy? Like what was the next steps when you came back V2?
it was throw everything I can into the brand, into my coaching, who I am as a masculinity coach, working with men, like specifically, because I was doing all this stuff, working with women, wrote a dating relationship advice. I was everywhere.
I remember that, Adel.
Look, and that, man, if I'm being honest, was fueled by I don't know what to do, ego. Like,
exactly.
There was also a part of me that loved being this guy in Dubai that was seen as his coach that no one ever heard of before. And I had to really reckon with myself, and that's when I took that step back and was like, I need to just kind of niche up. I need to refine what I'm doing, knuckle down on that aspect, which is, okay, you want to develop a men's community. You're not talking to men right now. There's a few of my boys, I had some good friends around me that said, dude, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Button your shirt back up.
Right.
Literally, yeah.
Really.
So just start focusing on what you need to. So when I came back, I was like, right, I'm going to focus on the guys. I'm going to build this community. I'm going to double down on this stuff. And when I made that shift, we moved into, okay, now we've got a group of 60, 70 men that are core members of the group, 300 men in the wider community, and like over 1,000 on the socials. My men's, my personal page, my personal brand is almost at 5K with a steady stream of clients coming through. That is because I just really stuck to what it is that I wanted to work on and not scattering myself too far.
Right. So that's a super interesting. First of all, kudos to that, because saying no to opportunity that was there to double down on something that you're not 100% sure of, like you're sure you wanted to do it, you just wasn't sure the business was there, but you believed in it and pushed through. So niching down in a business is very important, right? As a coach, especially because there's so many coaches, right? To be general is to miss the message for a lot of people. So that's actually great. So again, anyone listening who's in their coaching journey or in their entrepreneurial journey, the value of a niche and the value of being hyper specific on whose problem you're solving and who you're speaking to, I mean, you're a testament to that. That's huge. So congrats on that, because that took a lot. You can tell that your journey is one that unfolds just from, like, you have no resistance. You're just allowing it to flow. And look where it's brought you. So congrats on that.
100%. And I guess to those listening, I didn't really know that I had a niche at the beginning.
Interesting.
So especially being in the UAE, people told me, wow, you're a men's coach? You got a men's group that there's no one else that's doing that.
Yeah, there was no one. You were the guy.
Yeah, and I didn't start it for that reason. I think that's also why it was working.
Interesting.
Because it wasn't like, oh, let me start it because no one else is doing it. Let me start this because this is a niche. This was led from passion. And now when I speak to other people about they want to start their own communities, I'm like, do it because you really believe in it. Not because it's a moneymaker.
Exactly.
Yeah,
no, that's a very important message as well. And passion leads to progress always. It sounds a little bit cheesy, but like if you love something, that infectious pursuit will always attract people, and it keeps you going. Let's be honest. If you're only motivated by cash, right, there's a lot of distractions that will come your way, right? And there's a lot of reasons to quit. So
no, 100%.
Damn. Okay.
And thinking about adversity, have you heard of the theory of the hero's journey?
I have, but I'm not super familiar with it. So tell me.
So the hero's journey is the general storytelling archetype for many popular films. Say, for example, The Matrix. Now, what it does is it gets you thinking about a cycle of events that may occur in a man's life or anyone's life. The hero, you as the protagonist, and you start off with this. You're in this place where you're kind of in your normal life, and you get approached with an opportunity. Imagine that now Neo from The Matrix.
Yeah,
okay,
he gets processing. I'm seeing
so he gets approached, say, come to the other side, see what life's really about. And what does he do? He freaks out, he panics, he runs away. Okay, and then after you've been given this opportunity, usually you just reject the call, and then you meet the mentor. In this case, Morpheus. So there's a mentor. There's someone in your life that says, "Hey, I believe in you, and this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to take you on this journey." I have a mentor. I have a life coach. He's someone that I've worked with for years in the public sector realm, in the British government.
Oh, that's interesting.
So he's not a life coach. He's just a man that I deem to be incredibly successful, a great businessman, and just so humble, just a man that I aspire to be like. And I said, can you be my mentor? He said, yes. So he's been there for 3 years. Since I've been in Dubai, he's been here the whole time. Once you meet the mentor, you then go through your trials and tribulations and like the fight scenes, right? Where you start to learn, I know Kung Fu, those kind of things. You get through this bit, and then you start facing the issues. You start meeting the bosses, and so he meets Agent Smith, this kind of thing. You get defeated, you learn something new, and then great. Then you go on that journey of winning, and then towards the end, the close, you get to kind of reap the rewards.
Right.
It's a great analogy for life.
Hmm.
And I like to use it and think, where am I on this wheel of life? Where am I on this hero's journey right now? And when times get tough, I'm like, okay, I have to go through this to defeat the big bad boss because on the other side is this. Or am I supposed to be defeated, learn something new, integrate that, and then I can go back stronger? That's life. And but if all of us can just take a moment when we're feeling like we're at the bottom, or it doesn't matter, and think, what is this teaching me? How can I evolve from this? And do I need to take a step back? Do I need to regroup?
Right. So everything you're saying right now is, I'm thinking like, this is why you need a coach.
Yeah.
Right. This is why you need a coach. Even like personally, you know, I've built and launched successful businesses and sold businesses. I still need a coach, right? I mean, very much so. Like, where am I on the hero's journey? Probably just beginning, right?
Yeah.
It's a long journey, but everything you're saying and your development and your awareness sounds very developed. What is your advice to someone who doesn't have this awareness that they need to take these steps? Like you were saying, you're able to look at this hero's journey and evaluate, okay, where am I right now? Of course, it's transient, right? You can be the hero one day and you can feel like, you know, a little bit of a loser the next. Let's be honest, right? So how do you build that awareness as an individual? And then separately, how do you teach that as a coach?
Man, that's a good question. So first of all, we're always the hero, okay? But sometimes we just got to look at where we are on that journey. Look at the parts of your life that you're not happy with. How you feel on a Monday morning, as an example. What are your triggers? How do you deal with stress? Look, when you can take a look at these parts of your life, the bad times, as it were, and just consider, how do I deal with these problems? That's the first step of awareness.
Right.
It's just knowing that there's a problem.
Right.
And then being aware of that problem.
But that's hard to do for some people, because if you think about the problem, you want to avoid thinking about that, right? So how do you like log that to be conscious? Like, okay, yes, I'm thinking of this from a negative perspective, but I want to grow from this. Like, what is that? Is it journaling? Like, what is this?
Yes. So journaling 100%. Meditation is the next thing.
Right.
Journaling is great because you can just write and close the book and put it away. But at least you're doing it if you're just being completely honest. And that was the one thing that I did way back when I was in the UK. The beginning of this journey for me was journaling. And that brought me the most awareness. Because I would write things and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I felt this. And I would look back over a few days and I see, okay, there's a theme here.
Okay.
There's a theme here.
Yeah.
And then your reticular activating system, this part of your brain that becomes more aware of things, starts to listen and hear or see things that resonate with what it is that you're going through. It might be a podcast. It might be a conversation that's happening.
Right.
You might see a book and you think, that book sounds like something that I might want to read. Who you spend time with. And then you start to be a bit more directional, a bit more intentional about how you seek help. Journaling is the key. Or at least having conversations. That's why working with a coach can help you kind of pick parts of your brain and maybe push buttons that you can't go there yourself.
Right.
But we all know times when we're feeling like things are pretty lame. Things aren't going so great. Do you run away from them? Again, that's awareness. Just acknowledging that I don't want to face this. Okay, just start there.
Right.
But you also have to want to change. You also have to want to grow.
Right.
So already you said, if you're someone that can't see it but wants to evolve, there's already awareness there.
Right. Good point. Good point. I really like that. So again, coming from a fitness background and you as well, we have to train our habits, right? We have to train our habits, and usually training one habit will lead to other habits. Like you just said, I'm actually reframing this. You've just helped me a lot, actually. Thinking about, so journaling has been a topic for me, right? So it's one of those things that I start, and you know, I get myself a new journal book, you know, like all fresh, you know.
Yeah, we've been there.
I get to it, you know, and like 3 pages in, and the habit, like, and 3 days in, or whatever, 4 or 5, and the habit kind of just dwindles. It goes away. However, when I'm doing it, I'm recognizing that this simple action is leading to more awareness about, I'm working on myself, right? I'm doing something with an intentional about a result of growth, right? So I think if you don't have that first stepping stone, the journaling, you don't have that little reminder. Like you said, our brains can be so distracted, right? However, we're also focused machines when we want to be, when we train ourselves that way. So I'm going to stick on the topic of journaling because it's maybe a little bit selfish. I'm trying to extract some knowledge.
Let's go.
So have you been like journaling like consistently for years? No. Oh.
There's one thing to take away from this is, you know, as humans, when we start something, we think we have to go all in.
That might be a problem.
We don't always have to do that. We don't. That's the perfectionist side of us. Like you said, get the new book. We don't want to just start with any old book.
That was going to be fresh.
Exactly. But the reality is that we can. The whole point of journaling is just to write and just to get it out. It doesn't matter if it's messy, it can be bullet points, it can just be words. And there are so many ways in which you can do this. So sometimes our perfectionism limits us from really benefiting from what journaling can do.
Right. So how do you get over that?
Letting go that this has to be the thing that saves us. You can find a way that you can fit it into your day so that it's not a burden.
Right.
So maybe it's before bed. You've got reminders in your phone too. Maybe it's just after your shower, whatever it might be. Make it easy. First thing with a habit.
Yeah, clear.
Make it easy. Release perfectionism by giving yourself multiple ways in which you can journal. Bullet journaling, just writing down a few bullet points of what's on your mind.
I like that.
Gratitude journaling, one thing I'm grateful for, one thing I want to do today, and an intention for the day. It can be anything.
Yeah.
Or brain dump. Every single thought that's on your head, just let it out and then close the book.
Yeah.
Nice. Another one I like to use is just the 5-minute one, where you put the timer for 5 minutes and just write everything that's in your mind. Even if it's, I don't know what to write. Why am I writing this? This is ridiculous. Let it out. 5 minutes, timer, close the book, go.
I really like that.
And if journaling is not for you, voice notes. Voice notes your thoughts.
I like that. No, I've never really heard that perspective, to be honest.
I've got a WhatsApp group with myself. Literally.
Hey, whatever works, bro.
So I use that for ideas, and I also use it to send myself voice notes. If it's just, I need to get this out of my head. And when I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, okay, this sounds silly, or that's a great idea, or okay, this is done now.
I'm more audio as well. I do leave notes when I think I have great ideas or something that I don't want to forget.
There you go.
I'm not a writer. So maybe that's my hack for journaling. Maybe
or typing.
Yeah, or right. Well, which I'm, at the computer most of the day. So
exactly.
Okay, I hear you. That's really interesting. See, it's funny. I had a preconceived notion that a journaling was in a journal with a paper and when do I ever use a pencil anymore, right? It's like only for that journaling, right? So it's almost tedious. It's like, what am I doing? But if I can make it more natural, into something that works for me with my habits, okay, I like it. So
we're so unique. There's so many ways, but we limit ourselves because of what we think things should be like. Meditation is another example. I get the boys doing a meditation in the men's circle. Every week we have this man cave, and some of these guys have never meditated in their life. And I say, all I want you to do is just sit, relax the shoulders, let's breathe. And I say a few things for 5 minutes. And some of these guys are like, whoa, that felt so good. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know,
but my brain didn't stop. It doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
This could be the one time all week that you've sat in silence.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that little intention. I knew it. See, lots of little wisdom nuggets, right? And so actionable. And that's, again, that's a sign of a great coach too, is like, it's not rocket science. It's about crafting something that works for you.
Yes.
And like you said, making it easy. Like, I can't say how important that is in this world of distractions and everything. It's like, it's got to be easy, because then that can lead to more habits. So,
and get an accountability partner or some accountability system.
Okay. Glad you just said that. So again, everyone needs a coach. You agree with that statement, I would believe, right? Okay. So coach and community. Let's dive into Brotherhood DXB a little bit. What are you doing? What is Brotherhood DXB, and how can someone join that club? And is it like a coaching? Like, just explain a little bit more, because I actually don't know.
So the name shifted from Brotherhood DXB to Brotherhood UAE, because now I want to be inclusive to the whole of the UAE now, which is I thought it was quite limiting in the beginning, and I thought, we want to launch Abu Dhabi and Sharjah and all these places.
Smart.
Brotherhood UAE is a place where men can have a safe space to just be themselves. To speak up, to defeat loneliness in the UAE, right? To make some good friends, and to go on this journey of personal development, but with people that think the same,
right?
So it's not a networking group. This isn't where you come and pitch your business,
right?
But business does happen,
of course,
naturally. But now it's even more beautiful because it's just effortless.
Yeah, and it's in a supportive environment. I like that.
So every week we meet at this place called Warehouse 4, it's in Al Quoz, and we sit in a big circle. And everyone gets 5 minutes to check in. Dedicated time for that man to speak up and speak whatever is on his heart and on his mind, without judgment, without shame.
Power.
And you'd be surprised at how many people have never had that chance.
Right.
Because there's always a consequence to what a man says. We have to be careful.
Yeah.
A lot of these men are saying things in the circle that they can't even tell their wife or their partner or their family. But it's the chance where they can really be themselves.
Right. Wow.
And that's what all I ask, is that be yourself. Come to the circle and be honest and be open. Another thing we have in the circle is that when that man is speaking, we have like hand signals. This means like, me too, or I've been there. Or you put your hand on your chest, you send that man some love, because sometimes there's some really deep things that are shared.
Imagine, for sure.
And that shows that man that he's been heard. And a lot of men in general, but especially here in the UAE, are lonely, single, and feel like they're invisible. But when you've got a bunch of other guys
Right.
that can say, I see you, man. And I've been there.
Yeah.
You instantly feel like you're not alone.
Exactly.
Just with that hand
Yeah.
signal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so powerful, man. It's so beautiful to see.
Yeah. I can imagine the relief just from getting that out. Just
I've had men join and say, thank you so much because I didn't realize this. I needed it. I didn't even know I needed it. You know, a lot of men will typically go when they're feeling lonely and go into the arms of a woman, get on the dating app or go and just be around as many people as possible and come home feeling terrible.
Yeah.
Because that's not what they need. They need brotherhood. They need masculine energy. Yes, okay, we need some feminine energy from time to time.
It has to be a balance.
Men need men.
Yeah.
And this is what it is, you know. Men join through a membership. It's 200 dirhams a month. There's no coaching involved. It's just, I'm not there. I'm there as a facilitator.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And we have volunteers within the group that say, I want to help, and I get them to help out too.
Yeah.
You know, we really are a tribe. And this is growing. Every week there's new men joining. There's 2 tiers. So tier 1 is just the membership for 200 dirhams a month. You obviously get a t-shirt, which this one is for you, by the way, just for you. Tier 2 does involve the membership of coming to the weekly circles, but coaching with me.
Nice.
So I am offering that.
Okay.
So now I want to take these men on a journey where don't just join this group. Let me see where you're at, and let's take you on a journey. Because I know you're here for a reason. And even if you think that you don't need development, we all can do with a little bit of help.
100%. 100%.
You know?
And a space where we can express and just get it out. Because again, keeping things in, bottling things in, like that's a manly thing to do in a negative way, right? That's what we do by accident because by culture. That's what by conditioning. So that's I can just already imagine the relief that people must experience from coming into that room and just allowing themselves just to flow.
Yeah. And we're not there to coach anyone. We're not there to give them advice unless they ask. And it's just, like you said, it's that free space to be themselves. And it really is just something so powerful.
Wow.
Men sitting in a circle. And then what I do, after they've all checked in, I throw a topic in the ring. And we talk about a particular topic. Tuesday, for example, we talked about self-sabotage.
That's
how do you self-sabotage?
Right.
Let's bring it to the surface.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Again, I don't want any philosophy. Don't tell me what you read in a book. I want to hear about you and your self-sabotage and the things that are shared and the hands that go up. Man, it's super, super powerful. That's the real work.
I love that. I'm so thankful that, first of all, you're doing what you're doing and that you're watching your business, or you're watching your coaching turn into a business. Yeah. Well, coaching turn into a community turn into a business.
Yes.
So my question now, I'm super interested and I want to direct some people your way, myself included. Where do you see this going? Like, because the reason why I ask, when you started your coaching, you didn't really know where that was going.
No. With
a business, you can do that. You can say, I just love what I do and I'm building this and whatever happens, happens. But do you have, like you've already changed from, DXB to UAE. I see the growth already.
Yeah.
Like there's only one Adil. How are you planning on helping on coaching others to become coaches? How, where is this going?
I want to build something where I don't need to be part of it. I recognize that people come for me and there's a magic that I have, without being kind of so full of myself, but it's true. There is something that I bring to the table.
What people follow coaches for, right?
Yes.
Let's be honest.
But I can see men that are really eager to want to be part of this, and I want to empower them to take on their own circle. Some men have left and made their own circles. I'm happy. Go do your thing. The more men that's a good sign. Creating this, the better. Yeah.
There's the ripple effect right there.
100%. We've got one guy who's gone back to Italy. He's making Brotherhood in Italy. We've got one man in South Africa now. He's making Brotherhood in South Africa.
That's a franchise, bro.
Look, I said take the name if you want. Okay. You don't have to. I'm not going to just take it if you want to. I'll be proud.
That's big, man. That's a really healthy sign, by the way. That's huge.
I want to create retreats.
Nice.
The reason why is because I feel like there's a gap now between men and initiation into manhood, or boys and initiation into manhood. The trials, tribulations, the pain that we go through is important. But sometimes men can just be sitting in their comfort zone for too long and don't face those problems or those troubles,
for sure,
or they go down the wrong route and they go towards negative coping mechanisms to help them. But if you look back years ago and you send the boy into the jungle to come back with the lion, we don't have that equivalent anymore. We don't have a physiological change that turns us from a boy to a man. So what, we get a bit of pubic hair, doesn't make a difference. Women do have a physiological change that turns them from a girl into a woman. We don't have that. So why do you think men go through life wondering whether they've made it? Are they successful? Am I a man now? Or why are they trying to exhibit behaviors to make them feel more manly?
Never thought that.
Because they don't inherently feel like a man, because they don't take on responsibility. They don't have something they've overcome. They're lost. So I would like to build a retreat that takes men on a ridiculous kind of painful journey with safety that will make them feel like they've overcome something and almost like earn their stripes and feel more empowered. I don't know what that looks like yet, but there's something that I want to build.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like you said, we as boys going to manhood, right? Like there is no like finish line, right? There is no defining like, oh, now it's there, right?
Yeah.
You hear the stories that there used to be.
Yeah.
So and what I love about what you just said, like with this retreat, is it can happen. You can have any age, right? So you can have someone who's in their 50s, right? Successful in business, right? Have a relationship. Maybe it's working, maybe it's not, but they're still inside feeling like they haven't accomplished that, or they're still chasing something. And this defining moment can liberate them into feeling a lot more comfortable with who they are, who they've become. So
being authentic.
So that's the thing, being authentic. Exactly.
Yeah, I want men to feel authentic, strong and powerful and lead in a healthy masculine way. You hear the words or the phrase toxic masculinity a lot, but it's just men that don't know who they really are, trying to fit themselves into this world where it feels like they're not wanted anymore. And so I want men to feel like, we're doing good things. I also want to build a charitable arm for Brotherhood UAE.
I love that.
So we're giving back, we're doing more. I want to build a school again for coaches, or empower other coaches to join the community and go and do this work, whatever that might look like. I want to build an ecosystem where men can join and think, okay, I want a piece of that, a piece of this, a piece of this, but already just going on that journey.
Right.
Building a world where men are more chivalrous than ever. They're gentlemen. How to dress, for example, how to put pair clothing and colors and find them their true self.
Right.
So it stands them puts them in better standing in society as well.
I hear you.
But in a healthy way.
It's funny, by helping the men, you're actually helping the women as well.
100%.
So I just saw that link right now. Like I did, the light bulb just went off, and I was like, thinking, there's a lot of women who are going to have to thank you for bringing this this awareness. And there's so much to unpack with what you're doing. Now tell me a little bit more about, are you a solo entrepreneur? Do you have a business partner? Because this is a big undertaking, right?
Yeah. So for so long it was me by myself, and then one of the brothers said, listen, I see where you're going. I would like to be involved, and I want to invest in your organization. Are you in or you're out? Amazing. I said, let's do this. If there's anyone that I want to be part of my team, it's you.
Oh, perfect.
So it's me
the
and this
person
guy.
Came in.
The right person. He is amazing. His name is Krish. He's absolutely brilliant.
Amazing.
And he brings a side to the business that I don't have, which is the business acumen.
I hear you, man.
I can't do it all, and I've been doing it all for so long. He's pushing me in the right way. He's filling the gaps.
The right co-founder dynamic is a game changer. I've been there, and I'm there right now. So I hear you, man. Wow, that's exciting.
I'm so happy, because it got to a point where I was like, how am I going to do this? My visa was expiring. I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know how to I don't know what to do.
But again, divine timing, right?
Everything.
You didn't know what to do, but now, okay, you don't know what to do. You got to renew your visa, start a business, get a business partner that just comes into your reality. It's perfect, brother.
So everything happened the way it's supposed to happen. And, other men are coming forward saying, can I invest? And we're taking our time. We don't really need anyone right now, but I know that this team is bigger than me, so we are looking for the right people to join the ecosystem.
This is a mission.
But in a way that isn't going to kind of bring us down, but actually elevate and push us forward. And I'm realizing that I need to invest more into the business for it to go somewhere, and stop thinking so small. So he's encouraging me to think bigger.
Amazing.
Because so much to have all these big ideas. I'm like, how do I execute this?
Right.
But I'm just trusting the process, and everything I say out loud is literally coming to fruition.
There you go. Master manifester. I mean, we all are, for better or worse, right? That's why we have to watch our words, right? And how we speak about ourselves and to others, because everything we say can come true, for better or worse.
And I have really big visions for the group, taking it global at some point.
I love that.
And who knows, there might be some tech that goes behind this as well. Tech is the future. Tech is now.
Amen.
So let's see. But I don't know.
Well, congrats on that. I mean, just listening to where this is, even my investor brain's going off. I'm just like, I like where this is going. Like, you can tell, again, not only do you have traction, and like, you have people that are jumping on board, and this is an infinitely scalable business, because there are so many men who are waking up to the fact that, hey, I want to, be more comfortable with myself. I want to be a better person. And it all starts with that awareness. And when you provide that space, it's almost like a hack, because
Yeah.
I'm sure things happen really fast.
Yeah.
Like the way you've seen it. Yeah.
100%.
That's incredible, man.
And even the WhatsApp group. So it's a closed WhatsApp group just
Yeah.
for the men that are
Yeah.
paying members.
Yeah.
One thing I will add is that Brotherhood UAE is free for anyone that can't afford it.
Oh,
So-
well, there's your charity angle right there.
So if you can't afford it and you really
Yeah.
can't afford it,
Yeah,
then join, but just be an active part of the community. That's all.
beautiful.
That's all I ask.
Really beautiful. Yeah.
But the conversations that go down in the WhatsApp group, the questions that we throw in and we talk, and there's the emotional intelligence of these men is insane. We had an event recently with a women's group. So now every month we have a mix of these men and these women together,
I like it.
having conversations about
Yeah.
communication, relationships, and it's just so nice to see this happen.
Yeah.
This is also the future, is bringing us together.
Yes.
I want to build these men, and I know there's loads of really beautiful women's groups out there, very empowering.
Yeah.
But we can't sit in silo. We have to come back together.
That's
at
a
some
really
point.
good point. Exactly. Because it's not one team versus the other, right? It's not like you guys do your improvements, we'll do ours, we'll meet in the middle. It's going to be a collaboration.
Yeah, and it has to get a bit messy sometimes.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure,
so when you've got the
for
right
sure.
facilitators,
Yeah,
the next one hopefully will be next month. It's going to be a powerful one. We're going to get them going a little bit deep, but it might get messy.
Wow, okay.
But that's where the magic happens.
And playing around and experimenting too, right? And that is Brotherhood UAE.
Yeah.
You're onto something big here. That's
man.
very exciting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm so glad we had this conversation. We're having this conversation because, again, when you think you know someone, I see you everywhere. Like, by the way, like you're all over, like your Instagram, you're on this podcast, you're on that interview, you're on that news. And I just know that your trajectory is going in the right direction. And I've heard from people who have, been a part of what you do, and the impact is huge. Yeah. So you've made it as a coach, right? Like,
I don't feel like that.
No. And I'm saying that from a coach to a coach. You have, because you have that impact that is now growing into a community and a business, right? So other coaches who are like you on your younger journey, right? What would be your advice to them who see you on this trajectory? Because even I watch you on your trajectory. I'm like, this guy's crushing it, right? And that's not about finances. It's just this guy's on a roll. He's picking up momentum. He's building something that matters, right? And that, like we just said, always leads to success, right? Business success. So what would your advice be to someone who is a coach, and whether or not they have their niche, just they want to turn their coaching business into a business? Like, is it just take one foot in front of the other, or do you get this question and do you have an answer for that?
Always go back to your why, first of all. Why are you doing this? And let that be your fuel. Don't be afraid to take a job to sustain yourself. I did not do that. And if I could go back to 3 years ago, I would get a job.
Nice.
And I would focus on this in the background, and I would get help sooner to help me with the business side of things that I didn't know. Don't be afraid of that. There's no shame. There's no shame in making a few extra $1,000 a month just so that you can sustain yourself, because I was doing it in a way where I was suffering, where I struggled to eat.
Right.
We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
What was that? Ego?
Yeah.
Now I'm at a point where it wouldn't make any sense for me to go get a job. But, it's rolling.
Yeah.
Get help.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Know your niche. And don't worry about what everyone else is doing on Instagram and social media. Just do you.
It's a big one.
Don't be afraid to pick up the camera and just speak to the camera and put it out there.
Yeah.
No one is watching, and everyone's watching at the same time. If you look back at some of our idols, look at Gary Vaynerchuk, for example, and look at his original videos on YouTube.
Exactly.
They were not the greatest.
Yeah, exactly. We've all come a long way, right?
Look at him now. Look at Chris Williamson. Look at his original podcast. They weren't that great. Now he's he's amazing. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Just let go of the perfectionist and just put it out. If 300 people are watching you, that's 300 people watching you. Fantastic. Nurture them.
Yeah.
Nurture and I think community is the way forward.
Agreed.
Even if you have 5 people that you're talking to, put them in a little group, chat to them regularly, give as much away for free as possible in the beginning.
Amen to that.
Just throw it out there. Come on, like the money will come. If you want success and fame, that will come later. But go in with a good heart, be intentional, get help, and don't give up.
Yeah, no, that was a great checklist right there. And a couple of the things you said, like one thing is the core of all that was you have to get over imposter syndrome as well. It's like everyone's watching, but no one's watching, right? It's like, yeah, everyone's watching, but no one has the attention span to even care, right? Yeah. If it's a bad video, you are the only person that is going to care about that, right? So just do it again and do it again. Yeah. So that is a big one. Just do it, get it done, and build your community, like you said. That's huge. Yeah. Like even if you have 5 people, put them into a group, right? Yeah. Have them talk amongst each other and just grow on that.
Exactly. Yeah. And just get some tech to sit behind it when you're ready. There's loads of really good platforms out there that you can use, but really it's just don't give up.
Yeah. You waiting on the park bench on a Tuesday
Yeah.
for no one to show up.
Yeah.
And then you showing up next Tuesday for possibly the same result, man. That's resilience.
And the truth was, there were some days where I didn't want people to show up,
Oh, that's
which is going to sound really weird.
Yeah.
But almost like, oh God, I hope they don't come, because I feel like I felt also nervous and
Right.
this imposter syndrome
Oh,
too.
interesting. Yeah.
But I knew that I had to continue. I don't know what was keeping me there, but something which said, don't give up, just be there anyway.
Wow,
And then,
that's
but
drive,
when they
bro.
would get there, one guy showed up or
Yeah.
two, it was the best evening.
Right. In your flow and your see, again, there's a lot of synergies. I know that feeling, but that's huge. So I really hope the people listening to this who are in that position of because imposter syndrome, that discomfort, who am I to be, teaching this person? Because again, I can imagine in your position when you first started, you're probably working with some very successful financially, like people who are making tons of money, right?
Yeah.
Like millionaires plus. And you must have been thinking like, bro, how am I life coaching you?
Yeah,
right? Right. So, and you obviously got over that by just knowing that you had a message to share.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about giving them financial tips, right?
No, exactly. Look, the people that, as a coach, the people that you attract are the ones that you are destined to help. And usually it's the ones which resonate with your story. So know your story.
Right.
Know your journey. That's so important.
Yeah.
Like, and my coach, Alexander, he told me this exact thing. He says, you better get to know your story very well and what your shifting point was. Exactly what I told you about at the beginning about why my why became my why.
Wow.
When you get that down and you start speaking to your audience, those people will come forward. I've noticed it's been,
Right.
guys like me.
Right.
That were struggling with, confidence, relationship issues, family problems, typically from the UK or Western, for example, or just guys around my kind of age. They seem to be the ones that I was attracting.
That's interesting.
And the bullet train to making that happen was me being vulnerable on my social media.
I was just thinking vulnerable. That was the word I was thinking of. It was when you allowed yourself to open up like that.
Yeah.
Other people said, "Oh, maybe I can open up like that
Exactly.
too with this person. I feel safe."
Be the example.
That's a huge point. Again, to anyone listening, that vulnerability gives you that instant magnetism from someone else, and may not be the person you expect. That just says, "I want to work with this person because they understand me."
Listen, I did an event in Sharjah at the Sharjah Entrepreneur Festival, and it was beautiful because last year I was there as an attendee, and this year I was there as a speaker. It's the biggest entrepreneur event in the UAE.
All right.
And
I remember that. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was there, and I was super, super nervous to go on stage, to the point where I couldn't eat, and it was super. It was the biggest audience I've ever had. But I went on stage and told my story, where I was talking about how I was a cheater and all these things, like saying out to all these people, and when I came off the stage, first of all, I ran away for a little bit and just hid myself because I didn't want to see anyone. But as I walked around, people came up to me and said, I have never heard anyone speak so openly about themselves and their life in a way that was still so empowering, that still made me believe and trust in what your message was in a way where I would like to work with you, or I wanted to send someone your way. Wow. You weren't trying to sell anything.
Exactly. You were just telling your story.
Exactly. So as a coach, get over trying to sell something and just give tons of value. Speak from the heart. And find a way to tell your story in a way that doesn't always put yourself in a negative light,
right?
But allows you to share the truth and how you overcome it. And that's why the story is important.
Yeah, beautiful.
And just know that that's your strength, that's your superpower. That's where you are the coach.
Yeah.
In the parts that you've done, not the books you've read.
Yeah.
It's the bits that you've actually done. And that's what I had to learn about myself too. Is
that's the wisdom bomb.
The shadow work I've done on myself is where I can help the guys.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still learning new things, and
we all are. Yeah.
But that is where the magic happens.
That was huge, man. It's not the books you read, it's not the courses you've taken, it's the journey you've been through.
Yeah.
That allows you to be that great coach.
100%.
Well, look, I got so much to process right now. When is your next? When are your weekly meetings?
Every Tuesday, 8 p.m.
It's still Tuesday.
Yeah. Every single Tuesday, bro. It hasn't changed. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Warehouse 4. Check out brotherhooduae.com to book your space.
Amazing. Either
for the membership or just to buy a one-off ticket. And then Wednesday, we also have 8 p.m. as well, online version, which means no matter where you are in the world or the UAE, you can join and still be part of the Man Cave.
Love that.
And for now, that's it. And bro, thank you so much for this. And like I said, I got you this amazing t-shirt.
I'm loving it. I've been admiring the BH there, and bro, I'm feeling very happy to now know the story behind Brotherhood UAE. Makes it so much more impactful now that I know the mission and what you're passing on to these men.
Yep.
Just really feeling proud to have this shirt now, and I'm looking forward to joining.
Yeah, man.
Amazing.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you for this.
All right, incredible. Wow, brother, that was really, really amazing.
Yeah.
To hear all of that. Wow.